up, boxing fans? This is Lil Red Man with ATL Boxing Talk, coming at you with another installment. And this past weekend, the boxing gods sprinkled their magic on us and gave us another one of those good old-fashioned, passionate, classic wars. Reminiscent of Gotti Ward, Corrales, Castillo, Vasquez, Marquez. This weekend we had Juan Manuel Lopez against Orlando Solido in Puerto Rico, and it was one of those good old-fashioned rivalries, Puerto Rico versus Mexico, and it did not disappoint. It was a good fight. Unfortunately for Lopez, the results were the same as the first fight, because this was a rematch. Lopez was challenging for his former belt, and unfortunately in that fight he was stopped, and in this fight he was stopped. Solido applied the right amount of pressure at the right time. He was able to land right hands and left hooks all night, and even though Lopez fought with everything that he had, he just could not deal with the pressure that was being applied to him. He fought valiantly, he fought bravely, and any other man, Solido probably would have failed by some of the punches that Lopez administered, but this particular night, Solido just would not be denied. He wanted to prove to the world that the first knockout was not a fluke, and he was able to do that. He did exactly what he set out to do. Personally, I was one of the ones that figured that, Juan Manuel Lopez, I gave him the benefit of the doubt with the first loss, because we all know that he was going through the divorce with his wife, and there were some outside factors that could have legitimized what he was saying as far as the reason why he lost. Come to find out, he just can't beat Solido. Solido just has a style, and he pressures Lopez in a way that Lopez he can't deal with Solido. He had a lot riding on his shoulders. He was at home. He was fighting in front of friends and family. This was a rematch, so he was trying to prove that, the first fight was just a fluke. This guy can't beat me. I'm better than him. And two, he was trying to prove to himself that, hey, I'm a better fighter. Between the two of us, I am the better fighter. And they've already started trying to tie this moniker to him as the next great Puerto Rican fighter. So, that was a lot for him to live up to. Unfortunately, he really disgraced himself at the end of the fight with the post-fight interview. He attacked the referee verbally by saying that Roberto Ramirez, who was the referee of that fight, had a serious gambling problem, and that he had gambling debts, and this was the reason why the fight was stopped. Anybody who saw the fight, they know that Lopez was knocked out. And even though he beat the count, he was still knocked out. He made it to his feet, but he was out. And basically, to be totally honest, Roberto Ramirez saved his life, because Orlando Solido was not going to let him go quietly in the night. Had the referee let that fight go on, Orlando Solido would have put a real staple on that fight, and he probably would have hurt Lopez. Now, I don't know where Lopez goes from here. Maybe he'll take a little bit of time off. This doesn't mean that his career is over. We've seen fighters like Sugar Shane Mosley get in the ring with Vernon Forrest. Vernon Forrest said before their first fight to anybody that would listen that, hey, I can beat this guy. I've already beat him in the amateurs. And we were like, that was in the amateurs, man. But we saw what happened. Vernon Forrest got Sugar Shane in the ring, and he darn near killed him. And, Sugar Shane was brave enough to, extend another challenge to Vernon Forrest for the second time, and he got beat again. He just can't beat him. That doesn't mean that Sugar Shane Mosley's career was over, because Sugar Shane Mosley went on to do great things. I mean, his career really didn't get derailed from that. He just couldn't beat the likes of Winky Wright, and he couldn't beat the likes of Vernon Forrest. No matter how many times they try to pull a Jedi mind trick on us and make us believe that Manny Pacquiao won those fights against Juan Manuel Marquez, anybody with half a brain knows Pacquiao doesn't have the style to beat Marquez. Marquez will beat Pacquiao every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And Pacquiao knows that now. He just can't deal with that style. But Pacquiao has went on. He's challenged Cotto, Margarito, and he's won those fights convincingly. He just can't beat Marquez. So, for Lopez, this isn't the end of the road, man. It's just one of those fighters that you can't beat. I mean, Solido happens to just have your number. But please, whatever you do, don't pull a Zab Judah. Don't attack the referee. The referee was doing his job. Zab Judah got knocked out by Constantzu, and the first thing he wanted to do was fight the referee and beat up on the referee because the referee stopped the fight. Don't fight the referee. The guy that beat you up and knocked you out, there he is over there. Knock him out. Go fight him. That's the guy that knocked you out. Don't beat up the referee. Don't do that, man. Don't disgrace yourself. He's been suspended now. The WBO has suspended Lopez for a year. I think that's a little bit harsh. But, as a sanctioning body, I think that what they're trying to do is just really send a message to the other fighters out there that, this isn't going to be tolerated. You're not going to attack the referees verbally. Moving on, it looks as if the Carl Froch-Lucian Bute fight is a go. That's a good fight for boxing. Personally, I think that Carl Froch will win that fight. But the person sitting in the wings that really is going to probably benefit most from this is going to be Sergio Martinez. He can challenge both of those guys. It doesn't matter who wins or loses. He can get his foot wet with the loser and then challenge for the championship, because like once Andre Ward exits that division, then it's going to be either Carl Froch or Lucian Bute who's going to reign supreme. So Sergio Martinez, man, can really waltz in there and really make his name known. The only thing with that is Floyd Mayweather is flirting with the idea of moving up to about 158 and challenging Sergio Martinez. If there's some validity to that, then I'm pretty sure that Sergio Martinez is going to stick around at 160 because he would love a Floyd Mayweather payday. But I'm pretty sure with the options that he has, he's not going to stick around for long because there is money to be made, if he moves further north. So we'll see how that pans out. The 168-pound weight division, man, is going to be looking good within the next year and a half, and so is the light heavyweight division with Andre Ward making his entrance into that division. Those fights are really the fights that's going to keep boxing alive. We all know that the heavyweight division is trash, and it's fights like that that's being made that's going to, keep the sport alive. Now, I was asked earlier, excuse me, by a friend of mine today, what do I think about the Sugar Shane Saul Alvarez fight that's coming up? My friend, he seems to be a little bit worried for Sugar Shane. And, under the surface, I am too. Sugar Shane just has a way. I can't really write the guy off because he right when we get ready to write Sugar Shane off, he pulls some miraculous, thing. Right when we were ready to, write him off, he goes out, he knocks out Ricardo Mayorga in the last second of the last round, and we remember, oh, you know what? That is Sugar Shane. We were ready to write him off again, and he went in there and he just destroyed my man, forget his name, Margarito. He goes in and just, obliterates Antonio Margarito. And again, we remembered, crazy us, man. Sugar Shane did it again. Against Saul Alvarez, I'm not sure, man. That he's a young, strong, big kid. And with Sugar Shane's last performance against Manny Pacquiao, I just don't know. He got beat up by Floyd Mayweather, and he basically ran from Pac-Man. But, he just always does this, you all must have forgot. He always pulls a you must have forgot moment on us. So maybe this will be a you must have forgot moment. Maybe he'll take the young kid to school, or maybe this young kid will dispatch of him, and this will be the end of Sugar Shane Mosley as we know it. Maybe he'll go into commentating, or just fade off. I like Sugar Shane Mosley. I think he's one of those good throwback fighters, and I'd hate to see him get knocked out. If he does lose, I would like to see him lose in a stand-up manner, reminiscent of what we've known Sugar Shane to be in the past. But we'll see. Saul Alvarez is young, he's hungry, and that may be enough. He's kind of green, and there's a lot that he has to work on, but he's young, he's hungry, and he's strong. So, Sugar Shane does have his work cut out for him. I don't know. I got mixed feelings about that. I like to see the young fighters come along and do good. And, I hate to see the old warriors go. So, my feelings are really mixed with that. But again, like I said, this has been Lil Ram Man with ATL Boxing Talk. And, like I always say in every show, look, give me your feedback. I love to hear from boxing fans because I love the sport of boxing. And we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Catch you on the next blog.